The second time around, it's still not easy starting this video. But hello. Um, for those of you that have somehow stumbled across this video, which seems to be the case for a lot of YouTubers, especially VTubers, their farewell message of them like leaving a particular platform always is the thing that blows up. So for those of you who don't know me, hello. My name is Callius. Um, and I have been running this YouTube channel for so many years. And in fact, I've been on YouTube for a long time. Um, I want to say it was around December 2007 when I made my first YouTube video. It was December 2007, and it starred my dad. And then I did a bunch of random stuff here and there. Didn't really have a vision per se. But then at one point I was like, you know what? I really like this idea of playing video games and talking to people. Like a theoretical, metaphorical audience or what have you. And so I really pursued that hobby. I spent years making videos, and to be quite honest, I don't think I would be in the field that I am in now. I wouldn't have the degrees that I have. My bachelor's of media production with a focus on film, and a master's in digital content with a focus on marketing. I don't think I would have either of those degrees if it wasn't for YouTube. And it's something I've said numerous times on like the post tab of my channel, and when talking to friends and posting online, is I'm grateful. I'm grateful for YouTube. I truly cherish the time that I've had on this platform as a creator. Now, something to keep in mind is that it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. There was a period there where I was really trying to pursue this as like a professional full-time thing at some point during my undergraduate program, and it was tearing me apart. And after a while, I just had to go back to the roots of like just doing this for fun, for myself, and not really, looking to be like a YouTube partner or to get sponsorships or whatever. How would you sponsor a Let's Play? That one's kind of still something I've never quite figured out. Like, how would that happen? But anyways, I had the opportunity to meet so many lovely people through this website. Like friendships that I don't think I would have made otherwise. And that's sort of the beauty of YouTube. right? Is, especially if you're a creator, you can find similar small time creators and form these really tight bonds, these really wonderful friendships. And sometimes those friendships become permanent. Um, like, I taught, I mentioned him quite a few times in past Let's Plays. But my friend Gunnar, who I have probably referred to as my brother in a great number of videos, I met him through, effectively through YouTube. We were both in like a community for a Twitch streamer, but we only knew of that Twitch streamer because of someone on YouTube. So in a way, our friendship still was only possible because of YouTube. And it's one of the best friendships that I have, which is crazy. Like, oh my god. This thing that when it started out was, to share random videos, like funny ha-has. And it's formed into this huge, massive thing. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling, really. And unfortunately, some of those friendships that I made did not last because for some reason or another I just fell out of contact with that person. And some of them like are completely unreachable today. They have effectively forsaken social media, and as far as I can tell, have more or less gone completely offline, which I respect that. There are some times where I wish I could do that. But there's such a, it's so interesting, right? Having grown up on YouTube, like I said, I started, I made a YouTube channel in 2007. After hearing about the website, I think it was through my buddy Dan at the time, or it was someone else I knew, around then. But I had learned about the website, and I thought it was so cool. And I saw these different things, and I asked my parents. I was like, "Hey, can I start a YouTube channel?" And they, they talked amongst themselves, and they really thought it through, and they went, "Okay, sure." And this that one decision set the course of my life. Isn't that's so crazy? Just trying to wrap my head around that. My life today would be so different in ways I can't even comprehend because of a fucking website. And of course, the elephant in the room wishes to be addressed. And that's the title of the video. It gets talked about occasionally, like on very specific types of video essays about internet culture and YouTube, but it bears repeating, especially as someone who grew up on the platform. YouTube's really changed. You know? There was a time when YouTube channels could be an extension of yourself. That you could really customize them. You could customize colors. You had really like a thorough bio section. Comments on the channel were like easily accessible. And it was just honestly just it was crazy. It was creative. That was the core of YouTube. Broadcast yourself. And you could do that with these YouTube channels. There around that time I got really into two YouTubers in particular. Stephen George through his channels Stephen Vlog and Stephen Plays. And Emilio Rosales, better known as Chugga Conroy. I really, really got into their channels because of my friend Dan, who had favorited videos on display on his channel. And I saw a video by this YouTuber, Chugga Conroy, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And I watched a lot of his videos, and I was like, oh, this is... You can really do something with Let's Plays. At the time, I was watching mostly a lot of Minecraft YouTubers. And the occasional, like, other kind of creator. Like, I think at the time, I think one of the non-Minecraft YouTubers I was watching was Tenek1. Who, looking back, his sense of humor was definitely that, you know, early 2000s, I'm a pro on the internet, I'm a dude, that, definitely looking back makes you go, ooh, yikes. But yeah, and then, you know, then it went from there. And I really started to fall in love with the idea of actually, like, doing Let's Plays as, like, a focus. And so, I started a new channel, which is Lost to Time, called Caltrain Boy Jr. And my first Let's Play was, Super Mario Sunshine. I only got a few episodes in, and I didn't like the name of the channel. I didn't like the quality of the Let's Play, because I knew even then that I wasn't really doing my own original Let's Play. I was just emulating what I was seeing online. It wasn't my own thing, and I was like, clean slate, let's try again. During this time, I was also trying to develop a video game. I was still very much in the rough early drafting phases. And the name of this game was The 12th Kind, which I still have all of the pre-production documents of. I could in theory still make this game today, because I still have it. I still have the folder. But yeah, so through a complete accident, I ended up making a channel called The 12th Kind. And after some time, I kind of gave up on trying to make a game, because the only free game engine at the time was Unity, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was desperately trying, and I just couldn't. I think I was too young at the time. But anyways, after a while, I was like, I have this channel. I don't think I'm gonna use the old one anymore. I'm gonna use this one, and I think I'm gonna use it for Let's Plays until I'm able to use it for actually making this game. I'm gonna just do Let's Plays. And I ended up just doing Let's Plays for a long time. At some point, I experimented with other kinds of content. I had this like one of those shitty retro like hundreds of games in one device thing. I had an idea to review all of them. And I was going through them one at a time. It was really fun, but then I just ran out of time. But I kept doing the Let's Plays. And then after a while, I really wanted to do more co-op Let's Plays with my friends Dan and Cannon. And to reflect this, I rebranded the channel to Doorman Net Productions. And we experimented with having it be similar to The Runaway Guys, which is a collab channel starring the YouTubers Sugar Conroy, Nintendo Capri Sun, and Proton John. I don't know if they've changed their username yet or not. But we decided to go that route. And I still wanted to try my hand at other kinds of content. I was thinking, it could be a lot of co-op Let's Plays, but maybe we do other stuff, like abridges. And so we tried that, and it didn't really work out. And then that was when I was trying so hard to make this a possible career for us that it started ruining me. And after a while, I was like, I need to do Let's Plays on my own channel. And that was something that Dan's then girlfriend, now wife, had suggested. She was like, hey, if you're going to keep doing solo Let's Plays, why not just go and start a new channel just for that? And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that. And so this channel was born. And funnily enough, I didn't even have to do anything to have this channel created, because at some point during the lifespan of the original, the 12th Kind channel, then Doorman Net Productions, Google had started to forcefully integrate the Google Plus social system into YouTube, and it was causing so many issues. One of which was that for some people it would duplicate their YouTube channels, but like make a second blank one. So I had this blank slate already called The 12th Kind, and I was like, shit, I'll just use that. And so I started off with doing a Let's Play of 007 Nightfire. And then I kept going. And my biggest goal with this, right, was I had it in my mind somehow I got it in my mind that classic YouTube, like old school Let's Players, had a rule of two where it was just one main Let's Play and one side Let's Play. And I was talking to my brother about this the other day. I have no fucking clue where I got that idea from. Because, it wasn't Steven Plays. He would do normally just one series at a time. Sometimes he would do 2 or 3. But it wasn't consistent. And Jared Connery didn't do that. In fact, more often than not, he did one Let's Play at a time. There's only a small handful of times where he did 2 Let's Plays at once. And I don't know where I got that idea from, but I stuck to it, and I found that to be quite manageable, you know? The 2 Let's Plays gave me a bit of variety between the 2 games. And ensured that, like, one wouldn't necessarily make me burn out, because it's like, oh god, I want to do something else. That almost happened with the first year of Stardew Valley, because I'd severely underestimated how long that Let's Play was going to be. But, you know, that's how that happens. And I will say that with the current state of the YouTube channel, you go through and you notice that there are some Let's Plays missing. And that's because they were made during pretty dark periods of my life. And every time I looked at them when I went to upload, I just, or try to manage the playlist or whatever, I would see them and it would take me back. And I just couldn't handle that at the time. So I ended up deleting those videos after backing them up. Because I've dealt with so many times where, like, I thought I had backed up something and I didn't, and I lost it forever. So I knew I still wanted to have these in my archive, even though they represented a dark time in my life. But I wanted them off of YouTube, but in the archive. But yeah, if I currently, after this video goes out, I will, be working on, scheduling the remaining episodes of Front Mission First Remake and Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, which are Let's Plays 49 and 50 respectively. And those will be the last ones. I've talked about the history, and I keep pussyfooting around it. But it honestly, I think the current state of YouTube is dreadful. It's so bad. When I started, it was, you know, a place where people like came and made videos, not for money, because there wasn't any money in it, not for a long time at least. And when there was money that started, it was like either you had to be insanely popular or part of a network, a multi-channel network. But then they started to get a little looser on the requirements, and then eventually they tightened it back up, and it's the current system that we have. but I've kind of grown tired of the corporate internet. And I really don't like YouTube. As a creator, I don't like it anymore. I don't really like any platform. There's always, like, there's a lack of control. It's always, like, in your face, like, these are your metrics. Do what will make us money. And on one hand, I can understand their desire for money. Video hosting is not cheap. Okay? As someone who has their own website that they publish their own videos to and nothing else, video hosting can be very expensive. And so I think it's crazy that YouTube allows people to upload for free, with the only caveat being like, hey, you either pay for YouTube Premium or look at our ads. But over the years, it's just they keep making decisions. I feel like it worsens the platform every year. Especially their auto moderation tools, which are so bad that you have to go to Twitter to get a hold of a human fucking being. Because there's no email support. None that anyone can find, at least. So you have to go to fucking Twitter and at Team YouTube and be like, fucking fix your shit, man. And that's one of the things that really frustrated me, was automated systems that you had to go out of your way to find a human being to resolve. And it's the channels, they're not the channel. They took away customization of YouTube channels, and replaced it with a prototype version of what we have now. And it used to be that you could choose, because it was in a beta phase. It's like, okay, you could have your old channel, or you can try this modern one. And then eventually they switched everyone over to the modern layout. And then they just tweaked it over time. And now it feels even worse. It feels even more impersonal, dry, sanitized. It just, you go to someone's channel, and the only things that tell you anything about this person: profile picture, header image, and the video thumbnails. And that's it. It's covered by stark white sanitized bullshit. There's no charm. There's no appeal, there's no individuality. It's just not great. And then they do a whole bunch of other weird shit. Like this one, I'll be honest, I'm a fence sitter on, but YouTube Playables, they introduced fucking browser games to YouTube. They added a TV streaming service to YouTube. That one I'm baffled by. YouTube Playables, I'll be honest, I found some of my new favorite mobile games because of YouTube Playables. But for the most part, that thing is filled with shit. Just like poor quality garbage. But yeah, there was a point where I was like, I kind of want my own website. And so I decided to build one on WordPress. And I had that website for years. And then WordPress started to be really shitty and very much lean into the corporateness, the charging you way more for way less. And I was like, God damn it, I hate this. So, what I ended up doing was making a brand new website on NeoCities. It's the website I've referenced in my community posts. This originally was going to be I was gonna have all of my old content on it, but realizing that I have well over 1,000 videos just on this channel alone, posting them all would be Herculean. Because even with 11T, which is what the back end is, or at least the video page side is powered by, is 11T. That still it takes so much time. And so the issue that I ran into with Capwing is a greatly reduced amount of storage available. And I was writing about it in my journal, and I realized that this was it. This was the thing that made me go, I think it's time to let go. It's time to let go of YouTube. It's time to let go of my previous archive. Not in the sense of deleting them. Heavens, no. But in the sense of I really shouldn't go through the effort of posting them to the website. Especially a lot of those early ones. They look so rough. I'm going to be so honest with you. But yeah, here's the thing. I know that there are going to be some people that have been monitoring my channel to see if certain bonus videos will come out. And you're going to be disappointed to learn that I'm not going to make those videos. Every time I think about re-uploading, or not re-uploading, but just uploading the Let's Plays to the YouTube channel to get it current with the website, or even going through and making the bonus videos for Dynasty Warriors Advanced or Anonymous Notes from the Abyss, I really hesitate. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. And a big reason why is because of how hostile it feels as a creator. It used to be you could really change what you saw when you first entered your creator dashboard, which is now your creator studio. And I was able to hide the statistics out of sight because I knew those numbers would fuck with my head. And now you don't get that luxury. You don't get that privilege. You don't get that right to hide something as infectious as the corporate mind worm that is analytics. It's awful. I have a master's degree in marketing, and I still hate analytics. I think it's one of the worst things ever. Because of analytics, YouTube content is, on the whole, less personal. It's way more a numbers game, and it's how can we make the most amount of money. And something that I really came to terms with this past couple of years while I was working on my master's degree, I was like, I don't think I vibe with that very well. I don't think I like the mentality of like, we should get as much money as possible. Money is nice in this society of having to pay bills and whatever. But ultimately, it poisons my decision making as to which Let's Plays to do every now and again. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that at all. But with something like my personal website, especially now that it's on NeoCities, the statistics that are provided don't make any goddamn sense. And so because of that, it's really easy to ignore them. But I don't have any sort of weird pop-up that's like, oh, this video didn't do too well. Or do you want AI to tell you what videos you should make so that you can make us the most amount of money possible? Like, no. No, I don't. I hate that. I really do. A lot of the time, I will watch YouTube on my 3DS because I have it homebrewed, and I have a homebrewed version of the YouTube app called Fourth Tube on it, and I'm able to watch YouTube videos at horrible quality, but there's something about it that heals my soul. It feels nice because it's so intentional. There's no auto-playing to the next video. There's no cue. You don't save your own playlist, which I actually, now that I've said that out loud, I kind of wish that was another thing. I wish I could save some of the music that I like listening to a playlist of my own design. But on the whole, it's just nice. And I don't feel like I'm giving the platform any kind of money. And I know this is such a major yap sesh. And it's just become a stream of consciousness. And part of that is because I'm desperately trying to justify leaving a platform that kid me was convinced we were gonna be on here forever. And one day we would be YouTube partners. we'd make that money. And it's just not possible. I'll continue making Let's Plays, but for my own website. And it doesn't have any bells or whistles. There's no quick posting buttons to, Twitter, Blue Sky, or fucking whatever. There's no autoplay feature. There are no playlists. It's just intentional. You have to choose what video you want to watch. And you have to choose if you want to watch another one. And that's really been my biggest guiding principle for the website. Was you should have to choose to watch another video. I don't want to just force you to watch another video through some sort of autoplay mechanic. And I also don't want advertisements on my website. I have very much built it in such a way that there is no way in hell a single advertisement will be able to be shown. Unless for some fucking reason Capwing decides that it's gonna insert advertisements. At which point I will probably just completely delete the Capwing account that I have and build my own web server that's on 24/7 and hosts the videos. But yeah. I've rambled on long enough. I never thought in 1,000 years that I would ever say this. But I'm leaving YouTube as a creator. There are some creators that are still on this platform that, I'll watch. I've got a couple of friends that make content on here. And I will watch their videos to support them. But I will no longer be a creator. I'll keep this channel up. And like I said early on, I will release the rest of Front Mission First and Ghost Recon. Just to round out the channel and say, look, we made it to 50 Let's Plays. Thank you so much for everything, for the support, whether that was watching the videos, commenting, showing support on my little too frequent for my liking community update posts. And if you want to go to the channel, or not the channel, the website, it's just thechannelname.com. So that's the12thkind.com. There's a link in the channel about thing. I don't know what you could call it, a pop-up. And there's probably a link down below in the description. But I think it's time for me to say goodbye to YouTube.